friends. Welcome to Story Behind Podcast. This is the show for people who love hearing a good story and who believe the world could use more positivity. We're the team behind GodUpdates and God2, and we hope these weekly short stories will brighten your day.
Woman reunites with toddler she saved from drowning back in 1961. Written by Heather Riggleman, read by Julie Provost. A woman reunites with a toddler she saved from drowning back in 1961. It was a reunion 64 years in the making. Some moments in life feel like they were orchestrated by heaven itself, like threads woven together by unseen hands, stitching a story only God could write. In 1961, Barbara Ribeiro was in her 30s, just another guest at a party, laughing, talking, and enjoying the evening, until the mood shifted, a toddler had vanished, the air grew tight with worry, and a search began. Barbara had no reason to choose the house she did. She wasn't given any sign, no whispered voice telling her to turn left instead of right. She just knew, or rather, she was led. And when she arrived, she found him. 21-month-old Ben Colwell had wandered away, slipping into a backyard pool. By the time Barbara found him, he had sunk to the bottom, silent still. It was scary, frightening, she recalled. The memory of it is still fresh in her mind at 94 years old. But fear didn't stop him. She jumped in. She pulled his tiny body from the water. She listened as a neighbor called out instructions for CPR and mouth-to-mouth, and she did what she could, what she had to, till life returned to him. And now, 64 years later, Barbara and Ben were standing face-to-face. Time had etched lines on faces and added years to their stories, but one thing remained, gratefulness. When Ben walked in, Barbara, who had warned the camera she might cry, greeted him with warmth. "Hello, young man," he smiled back, now a 66-year-old business owner and father of two. "It's so nice to see you," he told her. Ben had grown up knowing the story, but the details had always been distant, almost surreal. The only thing I'd ever heard someone say, I think it was my mom, telling me that when you guys found me, there wasn't any bubbles coming up, he shared. No one knew how long I had been down there. The weight of it settled over the room, the reality of just how close he had come to never seeing another birthday, another morning, another day. And yet God had written a different ending. When I think of it, Ben said, his voice thick with emotion, I think, hand of God, he made sure that I made it for some reason. Barbara didn't know why she picked that house. She didn't know how long Ben had been under the water. She didn't know that 64 years later, she would sit across from the man she had once pulled from the depths. But God knew. God knew exactly where she needed to be. God knew exactly when to place her feet in motion. God knew exactly how to align that night, that moment, so a little boy would grow up to be a man with a story to tell. And maybe that's the part we need to hold on to, that even when we don't see it, even when we don't understand it, even when we feel like we're just making small, ordinary choices, God is leading, He is weaving, He is making a way. Because maybe every moment is holy when God's hands are the ones writing the story. Psalm 121, 7-8. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch over your coming and going, both now and forevermore.
There's no place like Israel, rich in history, culture, and spiritual significance. From walking through ancient Jerusalem to floating in the Dead Sea or experiencing Tel Aviv's modern energy, it's a destination like no other. While I haven't visited yet, I've heard how life-changing it is. Now more than ever, we stand with Israel and pray for peace. I look forward to exploring its beauty one day. Learn more at goisrael.com.
Parenting can be tough, but no one should have to do it alone. With your support, families can thrive in Christ. Focus on the Family provides biblical wisdom, practical tools, and Christ-centered encouragement to parents navigating discipline, faith conversations, and everyday challenges. Together, we can equip families to grow stronger in faith and love. Help us equip parents to raise their children with biblical truth. Learn more at focusonthefamily.com/equipfamilies.
Married for 68 years, this husband does this simple, sweet thing for his wife every night. Written by Hallie Wells, read by Julie Provost. CBS News' Steve Hartman went on the road recently to get relationship advice from a South Dakota couple who's been married for 68 years. Their simple nightly ritual is at least one secret to their very long and happy marriage. Dawn, 94, and 93-year-old Marilyn Barnett of Sioux Falls say that their success is as simple as a song. Before bed each night, Don serenades his beautiful wife. Don told Steve that he always asks Marilyn if she wants a song, and she unfailingly says, sure. According to the couple's son, Doug, they've been keeping this routine for about 50 years. Don shared what he learned along the way regarding their harmonious habit. And I discovered a couple of things. First of all, it pleased her. And secondly, it calmed us. And if we had a disagreement or something before, it was gone by the time we went to sleep. For Marilyn's part, she said, I just look forward to it, and he has a beautiful voice. Doug told Steve that his parents never miss their romantic ritual, whether they're at home, in a hotel room, or even in a hospital. When Marilyn fell and broke her hip in January, they remained consistent. Don was beside Marilyn singing before bed. What a beautiful devotion they share for one another. Volumes have been written about the secrets of building and maintaining a healthy, vibrant marriage, but Don and Marilyn have found their special ingredient without a lot of work and research. Don stated, it's very simple, it's very easy to do, and while it may be simple, their shared nightly routine is tremendously important to this admired couple. Marilyn added, we wouldn't go to sleep without that. Don and Marilyn provided a beautiful example of marriage for their friends, family, and community. Now their story impacts many more. Commenters were inspired by their story. User Brooke Wellington 8779 writing, wonderful people. Too bad all marriages in the world can't be like this. I can only hope to live and be married half as long as they have. This is great. What good examples they are to everyone, and their union has been a blessing. Many waters cannot quench love. Rivers cannot sweep it away. If one were to give all the wealth of one's house for love, it would be utterly scorned. Song of Solomon 8:7.
Thank you so much for listening to Story Behind Podcast. We're really glad you joined us for this week's story. To see photos and videos that may have been referenced in this episode, check out the links in the show notes. And if you enjoyed what you heard today, subscribe to our podcast, and please tell a friend about us. We'd also love it if you'd rate us and leave us a review. It really does help more people find us. Story Behind is a Salem Web Network production.
Rejoice always. Pray without ceasing. Give thanks in all circumstances. God invites us to cultivate thankful hearts by turning our eyes toward Him in good times and bad. To listen to more Abide Christian meditations, just go to lifeaudio.com or search your favorite podcast app for Abide Christian Meditation. You can also download the Abide app for more biblical meditations at abide.com.